All right. So, welcome, John. We are officially live here on Facebook and a couple different places. I think we're on a business page and my personal page. So, welcome. So, I wanted to kind of, I'm talking to industry professionals, and me and you have done business, a lot of business over the years. Why don't you tell everybody, what you do and what your specialty is within real estate?
Yeah, so my practice is limited to real estate. That's all that we've ever done. Residential, commercial throughout New Jersey, PA, and Florida.
Awesome. And transactionally, you've done everything across the board, short sales to regular law to, I mean, you've represented some of the, top professionals in Philly sports, right?
Exactly, yeah. So we're across the board, everything from condos to apartment buildings, skyscrapers to single family homes, restaurants, everything in between. We can do it all. And we have done it all. So we've closed almost 6,000 transactions. We're pretty busy with mostly residential, commercial, and land use and development.
Awesome. And you were also on the board that helped generate our contract, right?
So I still am on the board of realtors. I'm the non-realtor director, and I've been so this is my second stint on the board of realtors, and that helps me sort of be in front of the daily operations of our market, separate and aside from my real estate practice.
Awesome. So I just wanted like everybody to understand that you are entrenched in this community, and obviously we're hitting some new times right now, and things are changing. So give us your opinion of everything that's going on and what you're seeing, and then we'll get into what we can do as realtors, real estate professionals to kind of adjust what we're doing. That what we're used to doing, obviously. So, what are you seeing right now? Obviously, it's like a week old, but what's going on?
Yeah, if you asked me last Monday, I would tell you things were rocking and rolling. Probably around Wednesday of last week, people started calling, asking me what they could do to get out of deals because market was crashing and people were really worrying about their financial picture. So that was Wednesday and Thursday. Come the weekend, people were starting to tell buyers, I don't want them to come to my open house. We started to hear appraisers didn't want to go to homes anymore. Home inspectors started not to want to go into homes. So it started to kind of throw a wrench in the works. Monday and Tuesday of this week, it was the local government. So we were seeing building inspectors and the COs getting held up. Some local governments shutting down their tax office and stuff like that. So when the tax offices were closing, local government closings, certificates of occupancy not happening, that can throw another wrench in the mix. And, it's become a challenge. We're seeing different things pop up here and there. And really the name of the game at this point is trying to keep people calm, get people answers to their questions, try to find solutions and ways to work through these challenges as they pop up. It's really like a day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, things are starting to change. And we're just trying to give people resources and ways to negotiate around challenges and find ways to keep deals together.
Yep. And me and you are working on a few deals right now, and I guess for agents out there, that just use the boilerplate contract. Obviously, we recommend you seek counsel. Obviously, that's probably your first recommendation, right? And what kind of things should be in the contract now with, basically your new addendum, right? And I've seen a couple different versions. So why don't you share what's in that and what you guys are concerned about?
Yeah, to your point, I think now more than ever, it makes a lot of sense to have legal representation, not just because I'm a real estate attorney. Obviously, I think that's the case all the time. But we're getting into a real estate market where dates and deadlines are going to be really hard to meet. So we did prepare an amendment. We spent a lot of time over last weekend and then Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of this week on the phone with the title companies, the title company owners, mortgage companies, the mortgage company owners, realtors that we work with, clients that we work with, brokers, office managers, just trying to figure out solutions. A couple brokers have come up with their own amendments to make changes to the contract. We did our own. All of them, I think, are work in progress. But the bottom line is you have to have something to provide everyone with answers to the questions and expectations as to what's going to happen if dates and deadlines are missed. Like for me, the name of the game is to be proactive and give people reasonable expectations. We want to keep people calm. The last thing I want to do is to see any deals fall apart because dates and deadlines are missed. So what we've done is prepared an amendment that addresses all these issues. So it starts first with inspections. We build in a 10-day automatic extension and then a second 20-day extension if that's necessary. So that gives up to 30 days of more time for the parties to get either, a home inspector who's willing to go or buy some time to ride this out. The next thing we're adjusting are the appraisal deadlines for the mortgage commitment. Similar thing, 10 days and then 20 days, so that everyone has reasonable expectations. Well, what happens if my appraiser can't get to the property? What happens if I miss my mortgage commitment deadline as a result? Well, the answer is right there in the contract. The next thing is the certificate of occupancies. If these local governments aren't operating, and if the building inspectors or the fire inspectors aren't going out, we have to have an answer as to what happens if we can't get a CO. So for that one, we have two options. The first is the automatic extension, or if everything else in the contract has already been resolved, we've written in terms that allow for an escrow to be held, for a hold harmless agreement to be signed, and for the parties to proceed to closing without it. And the reason why it's important to have the escrow agreement and hold harmless is because A, we want the buyers to be protected, to know that when the offices reopen and the inspections are taking place, that there's money there to make repairs for anything that might be required in order to get the CO. Also, the hold harmless, because some municipalities will fine a buyer for closing or fine a seller for closing, either way, without that CO. And so having the escrow agreement and the hold harmless in place, if everything else is resolved, it gives the parties the option to continue to proceed with the closing, knowing that there might be a small gamble, but at least you have the hold harmless, at least you have an escrow, and that's going to allow the parties to proceed to settlement and figure it out down the road. But again, the last thing I want to do is to see deals fall apart. So we're putting language in place that will allow the settlements to take place, and then hopefully down the road, the parties can work out whatever they need to work out for any open issues.
Okay. So I guess with that, that sounds great. In my opinion, realtors, please don't try to make that yourself. That's a lot of language to try to put into your own words. Obviously, that's why I recommend seeking counsel. Now, I guess for current deals, are realtors able, and realtors feel free to post comments and questions as we're sitting here live. But are you able to amend a current contract, or are you just letting them kind of close as is? How does that work?
Yeah, we can jump in at any point. In fact, we've been working 18-hour days. I've been working early in the morning till late at night, trying to help realtors get these things resolved. We can jump in. We will make the changes to the contract. Our office switched yesterday to entirely remote office setup. So all my staff is still fully operational, but we're all operating remotely. But yes, we are jumping into files at any point through the transaction, kind of jumping in to make the changes that are necessary, explaining why they're necessary, talking some people off the ledge, saving some deals that are starting to fall apart already, and trying to keep everybody's eyes focused on getting a closing successfully.
Gotcha. We just talked briefly about showings. I'm putting a new listing in. My recommendation to my seller was we only let qualified buyers in with proof, meaning they sent me proof. And also, I asked for ID with it because I want to know who's going in my seller's house in the event anybody ends up sick. That's just me, in my opinion. What are your thoughts for agents holding open houses and all that other stuff that's going on? Are they opening themselves up to potential issues?
I think keeping a list is a real good idea. God forbid somebody comes through and they're sick. That's information that you'll want to have. You want to know who was there when, if they end up being sick, you want to be able to notify the other people. People may or may not have, the coronavirus and have no symptoms and could potentially spread it. At the very least, you don't have documentation to provide to your clients, to your homeowners, to the Board of Health, even, so that other people can be put on notice. And of course, even without some type of pandemic or scare like this, it's of course a good idea to keep track of who's entering your clients' homes, when, how long they're there, just to keep, some organization and safety for all the parties.
Yeah. So I guess any last words for, anybody out there? I'm going to post your link to your website, some of your contact info. It's scrolling across the bottom here. Any information that, how can they get in touch with you other than this?
Yeah. So with respect to last words, I highly recommend, the New Jersey Bar Association. A lot of title companies, a lot of mortgage companies are recommending that only essential people be involved with closings. So we've implemented a lot of new procedures where we're setting up our sellers to sign in advance. We're utilizing powers of attorney. We're doing remote closings where we're sending POAs or PDFs of the seller's closing documents in advance so they can sign them, get them notarized, return them to the title company. The sellers don't have to attend settlement. Same for the buyers. I've been working with the local mortgage companies. They're getting me the mortgage packages in advance. That way we can review the paperwork with our client, answer any questions, make sure they're good to go. But we're keeping, we're respecting the social distancing and keeping closing attendance at a minimum. So, I heard Greg's interview yesterday. He raised a real good point with respect to the proposal on in New Jersey right now to allow virtual notaries and to allow, even on a temporary basis, for recordable documents to be signed electronically. So maybe we'll move towards that. But until we do, my opinion is you take whatever steps you can to still do a good job and still represent your clients effectively, but start the process early, get documentations out for review early, and that way they can sign, notarize, do whatever they have to do, and we can keep the face-to-face, closings and so forth, keep the attendance down to a minimum.
I agree with that 100%. I said yesterday, I got 3 closings coming up, and I told my clients, nope, they're going to go sit in a room with, if you're representing a couple of them. If you want to go, great. Just you and the closer are the only people that need to be there. Realtors don't need to be in there taking pictures and all that stuff. It's less is better right now, and I think that's the best way for all of us to proceed. But well, John, I appreciate your time. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're doing a lot by Skype, by Facebook, or FaceTime. Yeah. A lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of emails, and you can get the job done. But you gotta respect what's happening. You can't take it for granted. There's a lot of uncertainties, so that's why we went to 100% remote office so that we can still be here, still help our clients, still answer questions, still kind of keep everybody calm, provide the guidance that they need, but be proactive and get ready to adjust in live time. Things are happening quickly. We're set up to deal with it, and we're going to do our part to make sure deals don't fall apart, closings still happen. There might be short delays, but again, like we talked about, that's the reason why you want contract terms in place from the beginning, so that you can point right to it in black and white. Here's what happens if something pops up, if some additional emergency pops up, if we miss a date or a deadline. It's not the end of the world. We've already talked about this. We're all going to work together. We're in this together, and we'll get the job done.
Yeah, and that's we're talking about this, guys, because there's a chance your buyer or seller has comes up test positive and has to delay everything, and that's going to affect this whole thing. But anyway, John, I appreciate your time, and I'm saying everything here for everyone. So if you guys need real estate advice, reach out to John. You can message him and reach out to him through his website and email, or call them in the office if you're in the office. But I'm sure that phone might be forwarded this week.
It sure does.
Yeah. So appreciate it again, John, and we'll be in touch.
All right, thanks,
your
man.
work. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.